Daily News, the Right Edition. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. You know, I want to just share a few words of wisdom with you, if I may. What one person receives without working for, another person must work for without receiving. Hey, pretty wise. The government cannot give to anybody anything that the government does not first take from someone else. Another piece of wisdom. Those are big words that we should put up on a big screen somewhere to look at them all of the time, and we should put them, nail them on a door somewhere in the halls of Parliament and put them up on Leighton's wall, and all those other socialist types put them everywhere, because you know what? Truer words have never been said, don't you know? Federal government documents now with the Afghan situation now suggest that Canadian officials intended some prisoners to be tortured in order to get intelligence, according to a legal expert out of Ottawa. If this allegation, pronounce it correctly, is true, such actions would constitute a war crime, says University of Law professor Amur Acharyan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You know, what part of that doesn't he get? I mean, war crimes. We're trying to get information from the bad guys to save the good guys. The good guys would be our soldiers. A pacifist, you know, he's a traitor to his country. I mean, if the rules are really like he says, they better be changed, and changed quickly. I mean, everybody focuses on all this nonsense. I mean, it just drives me wild. Our soldiers are out there, our men and our women, they're getting fired at all of the time, and you got idiots like this guy running around saying, don't hurt the bad guys. I mean, wake up, go back to wherever you came from. Don't stay in our country. The federal government now will no longer subsidize vanity. This is in the recent budget, the new budget, 2010. They're saying that tax credits that allow healthy consumers to write off some of the cost of Botox injections, teeth whitening, hair replacement, and liposuction, and a variety of other cosmetic procedures is no longer going to be paid by the taxpayer. And apparently each and every year the tax system has paid about $40 million to this vanity kind of thing. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, that's something that should have not been there in the first place. So we looked into it, and guess who put it there? Got to be a Liberal. Near as we can tell, Paul Martin did that. Wow. That shouldn't have been there anyway. Workers in Ontario now will see an increase in the minimum wage starting the 31st of March. That's pretty soon. That's just around the corner. The provincial government has just announced that, and they're increasing the minimum wage to $10.25 an hour. Well, the minimum wage in Ontario was $6.85 an hour in 2004, I believe, and now it's going up to 10 and a quarter. That's a lot of dough, you know. And minimum wages, I'm against them anyway, as most Canadians are, because it's a measure that without it, people can benefit and achieve more. What happens now with the 1025? The small business owner who owns the, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they have a pizza parlor, they now say, hey, we can't afford this anymore, $10.25 an hour. We're going to let a couple of people go, and we're going to bring little Johnny and Sally in from our home. We're going to take over and do the work because we can't afford to pay these other people all of this money. $10.25 an hour will now cause a whole bunch of unemployment. I wonder if these idiots have even thought that through. You know what? Just makes you crazy. Minimum wages restrict a little business person. If you have a McDonald's franchise now, you're going to get all of your cousins and brothers, and you're going to work harder yourself and flip more burgers, because at 10 and a quarter an hour, you can't afford to do it. And most people who get minimum wage have free room and board, and they don't pay taxes, and they're students. They have effectively almost $20 an hour anyway. And now you have the government saying we've got to protect everybody because the people are too dumb. It's just not an accurate thing. There, that's that rant. Now let me tell you about our people, our Conservative government. Since they were re-elected in October 2008, the federal Conservatives have rolled out, get this number, 3,229 press releases from government departments, agencies, and crown corporations, which have announced funding commitments of various sizes for various regions within our country. Combined, the 3,229 press releases tout spending commitments of $75 billion. That's our money that they're giving back to us, I guess. And then there's all the administration costs and all those things that go with it. 3,229 press releases, $75 billion. I mean, that's not a free enterprise government. It certainly isn't right. Right? There you go. Let me end today with a little story, if I may. This is out of the United States. Baskin-Robbins' new ice cream flavor has recently been announced in honor of the 44th President of the United States of America. They are introducing this new flavor that is called Baraki Road. Baraki Road is a blend of half vanilla, half chocolate, and surrounded by nuts and flakes. The vanilla portion of the mix is not openly advertised and is usually denied as being an ingredient at all. The nuts and flakes are all very bitter and hard to swallow. The cost is $100 per scoop. When purchased, it will be presented to you in a large, beautiful cone. But after you pay for it, the ice cream is taken away and given to the person in line behind you at no charge, of course. You are left with an empty wallet, no change, holding an empty cone with no hope of getting any ice cream. Are you stimulated yet? Hey. hang around, because next we have Right Business, and that's coming up after a word from some of our sponsors. Right Business. Welcome. A couple of weeks ago I told you about a 1939 comic book that was Superman, and it sold at an auction sale for just a little bit over $1 million, and it's kind of set a world record and so on. Recently, somebody else must have heard about this, I guess how, because I went into the basement, everyone was digging around and looking for old books and things, or through old books and things. And recently a fellow found a 1939 comic book in which Batman made his debut, and that just recently sold at an auction sale in Dallas for more than the the Superman comic. So there's a whole new record there. So all of us, everybody should go home and look for things that we can sell and make a whole bunch of money. Tim Hortons now out of Toronto has just announced they're now going to open 900 new restaurants in North America between 2010, that's about now, and 2013. You know, a huge success story. And it used to be you had to be a doctor or stockbroker or something to make a whole bunch of money. These days, get a franchise at Tim Hortons and make $1 million a year, or McDonald's. Great business, and everybody should pay attention to that. It's motivating and it's exciting. Tim Hortons, in keeping with them, they've now just recently announced that they have done 70 co-branded locations with Cold Stone Creamery. That's the ice cream place. You go up, you spend some money, and the ice cream is great. Looks good on me. And that's in the United States. And it's worked for them there. So now they are opening, in the process now at this point, at least opening 12 outlets of the ice cream chain in Canada. They want to test the concept here in Canada also. Again, another reason to be part of the Tim Hortons chain. Probably, I mean, a friend of mine recently called him to see if he could get a franchise for the Coachella Valley in California, and was told at that time that they weren't considering going there. So, you know, I guess things change and move around, but now with ice cream, there's a whole bunch of fat people in California. What do I know? Laura's Secord, am I pronouncing that correctly? That's the chocolate company. You see stores in many malls and things. There's 130 stores. And the chain was sold here a few years ago to an American interest. It's now back in the hands of a Canadian company. It was just recently sold or purchased, pick your terminology, for $19.5 million. A lot of dough for a lot of chocolate. And this company is interesting because it was named after a gal by the name of Laura Secord, and it was during the War of 1812 that she ran and warned, she hid in a ditch all night, and then she warned our soldiers, the British forces at that time, I guess, about the advancing Americans in the War of 1812. She kind of saved the day, and then she went on to start with all of these stores, and the first one was opened, I think, in that year. I'm not really sure on that. It's not in this particular article. But the good news is it's motivating because things keep on happening. To bring the store back to our country is kind of a neat achievement as well. Come back tomorrow. We'll have more to share with you from the right and the right business perspective. See ya.